Hello everyone, welcome to another Python lesson. In these lessons we are going to dive deeper in function, and also I will talk about dictionary and nesting in Python. So in last lesson we talked about function and the goals of function. Why do we use function and why do we create function? We said that it reduces repetition. For example, you create function and you can use it multiple times during or throughout your project. And then we talked about how to create function. We use div keyword, and then we use descriptive name with parentheses and semicolon. And then you can write code inside your function, okay? And also I talked about the parameters in functions. Functions can take inputs, as we said, and that allow them to work with different data each time. They are called. Tonight I want to talk about return outputs. And inside function we can use return keywords to send processed result back to the code that called the function for future use. Alright, so this is an example of a return keyword that we used inside function. If you want to understand function better, it's said like think of functions like machine. For example, function works like specialized machines. They take raw data as input and process them and produces some output. Okay, you can use function like that. So I want to give you a demo. You can understand the output return keyword better. Okay, let me open my VS Code. Alright, now inside my VS Code I have multiple files. Now, as I said, to create function we use div keyword. Okay, it indicates the beginning of function, then you use descriptive name. In this case I want to create a very simple function, then I want to talk about some parameters, and also I will use return output. Okay, alright, I want to create a function which simply display your name. Okay, I say displaying name. As I said, we use div keyword and then we use descriptive name, parenthesis, semicolon. Alright, in this case I use print statement. Okay, I mean nulla, for example. You can use as many print statement as you want. For example, I say Fatima, I say Shukriya, and so on. Now if I want to run my code, as you can see, nothing happens. My code is not executed. That's because we didn't call the function. Now in order to run my code I need to call my function. You can see I can see the result like Aminullah, Fatima and Shukriya. This is how you create function. Alright, if you want to create more clean and organized code, in this case you use input parameter in function. Okay, for example, in this case I wanna use name because in the future I want to use these functions for 100 users, like for 1000 users, 10 users, according to my according to my need. Now once I used okay, I want to okay, now I want to return name. Okay, right now if you remember, as I talked about parameter acts like input. Okay, for example, I want to use this function for 10 users. So once I want to run my code, you can see it gives me an error because in this case we gives my function parameter as input. So once you want to call your functions, you have to type input in order to run your code. For example, Amin. Now if I want to run my code, okay, it doesn't display my name. That's because okay, it process my name, return name, and then we have to, once it returns the name, we have to store it inside a variable in order to display. Okay, once I said you return my name Amin, and you have to store it inside variable, for example first name. Now if I want to run my code, I can simply display first name, in this case Amin. You can see Amin. So this is how you use return as output. Okay, we use return as output, and okay, and then it will be stored inside a variable and you can display variable. Now you're probably asking yourself, okay, what is the difference between return and print? Okay, for example, in this case I say print, for example, my name, in this case Yusuf, my last name. You can see both Yusuf Amin are displayed, and you will probably asking yourself, what is the difference between print and return? Okay, the only difference between print and return is that okay, once you return the value of name, you can store that inside variable and then it displays that value which is stored inside variable. But if you use print and you want to store print inside a variable, so it will not be possible. Okay, to understand that better, I want to give you a demo, like okay, for example, I want to create a function to calculate square of a number. Like for example, in this case I have one variable or one input parameter, and right now I want to return x plus x times x. Okay, once I want to call my function square, in this case always pay attention when you use parameter, you have to give input, okay, for that parameter. In this case I want to use this one. If I want to run my code, nothing happens. That's because okay, it returns okay, 4 plus 4. Now we have to store that inside a variable, then you can display that. In this case okay, I say power. Now I want to print the result. The power is now power. Okay, Now you can see the power is 16. Okay, this is for return. As I said, once you use return, the value of return can be stored inside variable, and then you can display the result. In this case, you can see the power is 16. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to use print. Then you will understand the difference between print and return. Okay, for example, in this case, let me call it in Persian طبعا. Now why, okay, I say print instead of return, I use print. Y plus y. Now if I want to run my code, you can see this code is not executed because I didn't call my function. In this case, okay, I wanna use 5. Now if I want to run my code, you will see 25. Okay, it only displays the result, but it cannot be stored inside variable. Now you can see 25. Okay, the power is 16. All right, 25. As I said, if you want to store the value of 5 right now inside a variable, it will not be stored. The result will be none or empty. So this is the difference between return and print right now. Okay, I want to Taiwan 1. Okay, if I want to right now run my code, Taiwan 1. Right now, if I want to print this one, the result will be none. So let's see. Oops. You can see the power is none. The power is none. It cannot be stored. Okay, this one, it cannot be stored. So this is the only difference. You can see the value of power is stored when I use keyword return, and it displays the result, but in this case it does not display. So this is the difference between return and print. Okay, I hope you understand that. So this is the function with output. For the output we use return. Okay. So this is another example. You can work yourself. Okay, now I also explained the difference between print and return. All right, now dictionary. What is dictionary in Python? As you remember, for storing data in computer memory, we talked about 2 ways. The first one is variable, and the second one was a list. Okay, as we said, okay, variable only stores one value at the same time, but list stores multiple values inside a single variables. Okay, we talked about how to iterate loops, use for loops to iterate inside items, to iterate items inside list. And today I'm going to talk about dictionary. What is dictionary? Dictionary stores data as a key value pairs. Just like real dictionary, where words keys have definition values. This is, we can say, in other words, dictionary is type of data structure in Python, which is used to store informations. Okay. As we said, dictionary stores data as a key value pairs. So this is a syntax for dictionary. You use the name of the dictionary, then you use equal sign, and you can see we use for dictionary this bracket, and then we have the key, and we have for each key we have value. All right, let me give you an example, a demo, you can understand that. I am creating new file, dictionary by. Okay, as I said, the syntax for the dictionary is you use the name of the dictionary, for example, programming languages. Now we have equal sign. Now we use bracket. If I'm not mistaken, it is called bracket in English. I don't know. Now we have key and value. Okay, I say Python. Python is the key, and now for each key we have value. Python is used widely in AI and IoT. Okay, this is the first key. Python is key, and for each key we have value. In this case, this is the value. Okay, now we can have multiple key and value pairs inside our dictionary. Now I have another key value, for example Java. For Java we have value, for example I say it is used in big data. Now I have another key value, like for example JavaScript. It has some value for JavaScript. It is used for web development. Okay, this is dictionary. Okay, for dictionary we use the name of dictionary, and then you have key and value. All right, now let's play with this data, with this key and value data inside dictionary. Now if you want to print all the content of this dictionary, it is very easy. Programming languages. You can see it has been displayed now. Okay, now I need some specific values inside my dictionary. For example, you have lots of values and data inside your dictionary. You are looking for a specific one. In this case, I'm looking for Python. In this case, you use print, and then you can see once I use this sign, I don't know what is the name of this sign in English. Once I type that, you can see 3 keys are displayed. For example, Java. I'm looking for Java. You can see now the value of Java is it is used in big data. You can see it is used in big data. If I want to go and display the value of, for example, Python, you can see it is used in big data. This is the value of Java. Python is used widely in artificial intelligence and IoT. Okay, all right, now if you want to add another key or values for your dictionary, how can you do that? You can simply programming language, then you write another key. In this case, for example, I want to add C++. Now, for example, C++, it is used, for example, for robotics. Alright, right now if I want to check if it has been added or not, you can see C++ has been added. Okay, perfect. Now if you want to clear all the data inside your dictionary, how can you do that? It is very easy. You write the name of your dictionary and you can simply use this. Right now if I want to print programming languages, it should be empty. You can see we have an empty dictionary. Okay, loop, as you remember, for loop, if you want to access each item inside list, you use for loop to iterate for each item. To display that, we have the same things to iterate inside dictionaries. So this is how you can do that. For example, okay, I want to I want to display all the keys. How can I do that? I say for key in this case. In programming languages, I say print key. I say print key. Now if you want to, you can see Python, Java, JavaScript and C++. Now you say, okay, I need key and also values. How can you do that? You can do it like this. Print, then you write the name of your dictionary, programming language, in this case key. Right now if I want to run my code, you can see Python is used widely in artificial intelligence and IoT, then Java and its content. This is how you can play with dictionary data. Okay, we have nesting, list and dictionary. Now you understand these. Sometimes there are some cases that you have list inside dictionary. Okay, how can you access that and how you can work with that? For example, if I have travel vlog dictionary, inside this dictionary I have two countries. Okay, inside each country I have multiple cities. For example, in this case I have France. France is used like a list, like key, and inside France I have multiple cities, like for example Paris. Now I have, for example, Toulouse, then I have, for example, Lyon, then I have, for example, Lille. You can see France has multiple data, multiple values. In this case you use list. Now I have another country, for example, Spain. For Spain we have, for example, Barcelona, or we have Madrid, we have, for example, Santander, and we have, for example, Seville. you can see we have list inside dictionary, which is very interesting. Now, how can I display, for example, okay, you are looking for a specific key, in this case France. How can you display that? You say print, the name of your dictionary, you use France in this case. If I want to display all city in France, I use this one. You can see we have Paris, we have Toulouse, Lyon, and Lille. Okay, now you're saying, okay, I need only Lyon, or for example, I need only Paris. How can I do that? If you remember from the list, we use index to access a specific item inside the list. For example, in this case, for the Paris, we use 0, right? Now, from France, country France, only Paris is displayed. You can see Paris. Now, if you want to, for example, use Spain, and you are looking for Santander, 0, 1, 2, you use index 2. You can see. So this is how you use dictionary to store data inside Python memories or computer memory, and how you access these informations, these values. It is very important to understand, and it is widely used in IoT and in big data engineering projects. Okay. To sum up, we talked about functions. In these lessons, we studied in output, and we talked about dictionary and nesting. Okay, thank you very much, and if you like my video, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel.